Welcome everybody to your February 2024 Nurse Business Owner Call. So I'm glad you're here and ask me anything and I'm happy to help. So who's first? Who wants to start? Renee?
Ah, um,
And Lorna, you're welcome to stay too, by the way.
Um,
Oh, you just muted yourself.
oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. I'll stay for a little while.
Okay. Well, and feel free to ask questions too. Okay. So Renee.
all right. So I'm actually in Big Sky, Montana.
I know you're on vacation skiing and you're here.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
commitment. Level
Yeah.
5.
My brother-in-law's making dinner.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I had a great week last week. I signed my third beta client.
Yay.
So that's exciting. He is in his early 50s. He had a tremendously high calcium score on a calcium scan, cardiac calcium scan. So he's truly primary prevention, which is really exciting. He has a lot of questions about diet, exercise, all lifestyle interventions that he can use. So I'm really excited about that. We actually did a walk and talk last week just to kind of, instead of doing the 30-minute free call, we did a walk and talk. So that was really cool. Enjoyed that a lot. So I'm excited about him. So when I get back next week, I'll have all 3 of my betas
Yeah.
scheduled next week. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And I don't know if I told you, Lori, actually I don't think I have. So actually maybe I did. The superintendent is not continuing my contract. Yeah, they're having a significant decrease in population, which I actually knew because I was on a committee last year to refigure the schedule, like the bell schedule of the school day. And he had statistics about the declining enrollment, which is pretty stark. My son is graduating this year. His class is 140 students, and the present kindergarten class has 30 something.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So my son's class is the largest class in a lot of years. So next year's class I think goes down to 100. So he's actually having to cut teacher positions. So I mean, I'm actually fine with it. I feel like it's kind of like,
Perfect timing. Perfect.
yeah, and it was great because the money that I earned in the previous 3 contracts, and they went by semester, I've just reinvested in my business totally.
Mhm.
My education or going to conferences or hiring a coach, or just purchasing things, for tabling events and all that. So I think I'm going to have a second talk booked for April.
Oh, good.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So
So
I feel like,
Renee, I wish I would have let you introduce yourself to Rich because he would probably be a perfect client for you. So when I give everybody else, I'll make sure you get it as well, his contact information. And you
okay.
just might want to just say, you caught the tail end, and think, whatever you want to say, and then just say, by the way, this is, what I do. If you know somebody who would be interested in chatting, let me know.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I
Where does
think
he live?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Okay.
But he lives between Indianapolis and Florida in West Palm. Yeah. But yeah, I know his health history and stuff, so I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah, I think he would be good, and I think he probably knows a lot of people too.
Okay. And I missed it. He's a nurse and attorney as well?
No, he's not a nurse. He's
Okay.
he's an attorney, just an
Just an
attorney.
attorney.
Yeah, just a nurse.
I love that, Lori. That's awesome. Yeah. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of, in a way, permission just to kind of move on.
Mhm.
So I'm delighted that I've been doing all this work on my website, and I have my brochure is going to go to print probably tomorrow.
Ooh.
So I'm
So
excited
it's
about
sort
that.
of like,
Excited.
like we all have like a comfort zone to hang on to, whether it's keeping our day job or, and you had that comfort zone with the school, and now that it's
Yeah.
over, it's allowing you to fly on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, it'll go great.
But I'm excited. I'm excited. I really am. I'm feeling like this role is kind of like a culmination of everything that I've done in my career. And it was funny, I had
Yeah.
to actually, you might have some thoughts about this, but I had to update my resume. Because when I applied for the talk that I'm waiting to hear back on for April, I had to upload a resume. Um, so I just hadn't included my present role.
I
But it was
just
interesting.
a laptop case and it says you are exactly where you need to be.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For you too.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I really am. Yeah, but I'm trying to think now because I had last week. So funny because I did sign on on Valentine's Day. Like, where is everybody? Trying to think what I was going to ask you. Survey questions, feedback, ideas. Yeah, we did all that when I was on the call before. So yeah, so I guess there's that. You had given me the idea of going to health food stores too to table events. So I'm going to look into
Yep.
that when I get back.
Good.
Yeah. So it just be kind of opening my, just, it's funny, like I remember when I became pregnant with my first child, all of a
Mhm.
sudden I heard on the radio all these ads about pregnancy. And I was like, why did they start all of a sudden having ads about pregnancy?
They've
Which is
always
silly
been
because of course they always
there.
had one,
Yeah.
but it's like, they've always been there. I just didn't notice. Right. So now it's like, it'll be interesting to see what kind of opportunities I notice now that I'm really shifting.
One of my coaches
Yeah.
said
So I'm
that
excited about it. I really am.
opportunities, what people are always like, get, send me money. Well, that's not how it works. It's you will get presented with an opportunity. And like, if a pizza guy comes to your door and um, I didn't order pizza. Well, instead of just saying yes and being grateful, the opportunities are always in front of us. It's
Right.
just, we ever notice them. So that's
Right.
cool.
Right. So I'm kind of taking this break to like really like allow my mind to put that away and open up to what's coming. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. And how's the skiing?
It's okay.
Just
They
okay?
could use more snow. We're
Yeah.
we're kind of hoping for like a 3-foot dump.
Uh,
But I mean, I can't complain. It's great.
good.
It's
Good.
great.
Okay.
Compared to
Awesome.
New England, it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
And Tina, how are you? Are you like now even more fired up to start your CNA school based on what Rich said?
Well, yeah, so I actually am meeting with someone to help me with marketing
Mm,
so that they can take over the marketing for the CNA school because I don't have time to do it. So I met with her briefly today and we're supposed to get together again and talk about it more in depth.
and is
Um,
she on a contingency fee or like a commission?
I don't know. We haven't really gotten that far yet. It's somebody I know locally, so
Well, you
that's kind of what they do. And so they're gonna work on the flyers. So we'll work out how much the payment. So yeah,
yeah,
it's just a
you might have her be your sales team and just pay her on commission to fill your school.
okay. I can think about that. Pay on commission. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
James came back, so he can join us too.
Okay.
We're having a party here. All
And,
right.
yep.
So
And go ahead.
I was gonna see what other questions you have. I'll see you next week.
I will not be there next week. I
Yeah.
have to work. I could not get off.
Oh,
I was planning on it, but it was just too much going on. There's a lot going on at work that I can't get into.
well,
um,
sometimes.
CEO's leaving.
Mm.
They sold the company. A lot going on.
Oh, okay. James, you're now with our nurse business owner call, and you're welcome
Okay.
to stay.
Well, I just only had a couple of kids. I thought I'd check back in. But I
Okay.
forgot to tell you my other win.
Oh, okay. Let's
I
hear it.
was, I was talking to a lawyer, and now I'm trying to find him some expert witnesses that are medical doctors who agree with chiropractic care.
Oh, okay. There's
So
some.
that'll be fun. So yeah,
There's
So-
definitely some.
yep, there's gotta be. We'll search. So
Good. That's awesome.
yep. So all right.
But yeah. So Renee, you might want to contact in Indiana. It's called the Judges and Lawyers Assistance Program. I don't know what it is where you are, but there is usually some kind of program for attorneys. And since, you can help the attorneys lower their stress and increase their well-being, they might be able to refer you as well, or you could speak at their conference. There's, I have to blend my worlds.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
You can
Um,
even talk at the nursing ones, but nurses, they don't want to pay for anything themselves.
Yeah, no, this conference that I'm hoping to get booked at is a statewide, it's the only Rhode Island statewide conference for behavioral health specialists.
Uh-huh.
So it could be either they themselves or if they have clients, who have physical needs as well.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. But what I wanted to ask you, Lori, so Rhode Island just joined the compact. And so I went for the multi-state license.
Okay.
Do I need to be licensed in the state where my client is?
If you call yourself a nurse coach, then you do.
Okay.
Typically what I do for my nurses who are nurse coaches who take care of clients out of state, I will put something in the agreement that they are not practicing nursing, that that what they agree to have their own healthcare provider, and that that your coaching services should not be construed as you practicing nursing. Now, whether that will help you or not, I don't know, but it's better than nothing. What bothers me
Right.
is there's
Okay.
tons of coaches out there. They go to Coach U or Coach, any of these coaching programs, fly by night places, and then they're out there doing health
Mhm.
coaching for people. Who's better to do health coaching but a nurse? But these people are unlicensed and they can teach national. Why should you be different?
Right.
So education, you are within your scope doing education, because you're not, assessing, planning, intervening, and evaluating, but that's what I would do.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, questions.
Okay.
Who needs help?
Hmm.
Tina, do you need any more help on your summit or your podcast or anything?
I could always use more guests on the podcast. I'm in season 2, and I actually I'm developing a new promo for it, and really trying to up my game. So I'm
Hmm.
excited about it.
Have you had
And
Renee on it yet?
have I had who?
Renee.
No, I have not.
Okay.
Tina, tell me about it.
Okay, so on my podcast, I interview nurse business owners and leaders and others in the healthcare field that can provide um, some information to nurses that are wanting to be business owners. And so we talk about your nursing journey, basically, and then how did you become an entrepreneur? And I just give you a chance to tell your story.
Oh.
And I just posted the last episode with my first international guest from the United Kingdom. So
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
yeah, so it's kind of fun. So I've had Canadian nurses, I've had nurses from the UK now, and I'm starting to get some contact with some nurses out of like Africa and So my
Wow.
reach has expanded because I got to meet some nurses that are in the social media and writing platforms, and so they're nurse writers, and so their reach is bigger. And I have an episode coming up with a nurse who is on the national spotlight for safety, like violence against nursing, that type of thing. Her name is Mel Cortez. I don't know if you ever met her or followed her on social media,
No, but
but
somebody to reach out to is Sandra Rizzoldi,
okay,
and she owns Nurses Against Violence. And just use my name, that's fine.
okay. How do you spell her last name?
Risoldi.
Okay, I'll look her up. Sandra
Yes.
or Sandra.
I don't, Sandra.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Okay.
So yeah, so she's gonna be on there. She was just on like I don't know, one of the like Good Morning Americas or something like that. So she's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I can get all your stuff on it. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, sure.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's what's happening with the podcast, and um just plugging along with my client.
No, Sue Sinclair, did she do the podcast with you?
Yes. Mhm,
Yeah, it was, I don't know if it was your podcast or Teresa Sanderson, but she
mhm.
did a podcast and got clients from that too. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going to be guesting on another podcast and coming up myself. So that should be fun too. So
That's
I'm
cool. What's your
guesting
podcast called, Tina?
the Nurse Shark Academy show. Nurse Shark, yes, Academy show. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube,
Cool.
yeah,
How long are the
Amazon.
podcasts?
Typically about, I would say, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. On occasion, we've gone to an hour. So
Okay.
some are a little bit shorter, like 20 minutes, but usually it's around 30 to 45 minutes. It just depends on how the conversation goes
Okay.
and what we get into, because we might meander a little bit. Like, I heard, you just told me that you were working in psychiatry, and what was the most interesting psychiatry story you can tell? So we kind of would go off a little bit that way. But then we like to talk about entrepreneurship, and then what business tips they have for budding entrepreneurs.
Okay. Okay.
And so I have nurses from all kinds of different businesses, from wellness nurses to IV hydration nurses, to nurse practitioners, nurse writers, legal nurse consultants, patient advocates, all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then do you like if does your client or guest or however you call them, do they
Mhm.
get a copy of the podcast or is
Oh,
that
yes,
part?
they get a copy and they can distribute it, put it on their website, send it out to social media. In fact, I asked them to send it to social media and promote it. And also, if they want to cut the clips out and use it for their website, I don't have a problem with that. We usually do like a little intake call ahead
Okay.
of time, just so they'll know what's going to happen.
Yep.
And I do let them know that yes, you will be on video as well, so be prepared for that. Then we set up a time for you to do your taping. I use StreamYard. We get you into the studio. We do the taping. Once your episode goes live, I give you an email saying, "Hey, your episode's live. Here are your links, and do what you do, work your magic." And I share it everywhere. You do sign like a release, podcast release that says I can use your voice and use your face and promote it wherever and all that type of stuff. Um,
Oh,
so it goes to a lot of different places. And I'm working on getting the podcast monetized. So that's my next step.
Good.
Okay.
Good. You need listeners, right?
Yes, I need listeners.
Okay,
I'm
well,
almost to 1,000 downloads
put
altogether.
it in the Facebook group.
I
We
will.
want to support you.
Please, just
Yeah.
follow me wherever and leave me a comment. Give me a review on like Apple and Podbean. And I do have, if you're wanting to start your podcast, I do have an affiliate link for you that you get a discount if you want to use Podbean, because that's who I use as host. So I do have that. So anybody who wants to start a podcast, just an FYI.
Okay.
Great.
Where's the studio?
It's virtual. So I use StreamYard.
Oh.
Yep. So
Okay.
you'll get a link, just kind of like Zoom, but a little bit better with the audio and all that. I've learned a lot by hanging out in the podcaster community. It's been great. And I've learned a lot hanging out with, there's a group called Grand Connection, and they have a big podcasting group. And, it's like a little networking plus a little mastermind stuff. And they help you get things. So it's nice to talk to different people who are on the different levels. And having been a guest for a lot of podcasts, it's been really helpful. Oh, by the way, if you want to guest on more podcasts, I also have a link for podcastguests.com. And you can go on there, set up your account, and pitch yourself to, they'll send out a list like twice a week, and you just pitch yourself to whoever you feel like would meet your audience. And so I pitch to a lot of business podcasts because obviously I work in the business area. What I found was interesting when
Right.
I was setting up my podcast, I didn't use like healthcare or personal development or any of that. I put myself in the business podcast, because I figured that's where I should be, right? I happen to be one of the few nurse business podcasts on this one particular platform. So,
Oh, cool.
it's interesting to put yourself in a different niche. I didn't think about it. I just thought that's what I'm supposed to do because that's what my show's about. And so it was interesting to see that when I search for business podcasts, my podcast actually comes up. I was like, oh, and not a lot of nursing
Oh,
podcasts do that because they do it more for, celebrity or true crime or, because there's a great one that's on forensic nurse files. I love that show. And they're by
yeah.
sexual assault nurse examiners, and they talk about some of their cases. I love that show, but it's on true crime, right? It's not in business. So it's wherever you. So when I say search for your podcast, look for what's your genre, but look outside that sometimes. So yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
I found that podcast. I was like,
Thank you.
ooh, this is good. I had to stop on this one case. They're talking about an abuse of a kid, and it was like getting really graphic, and I'm just like, yeah, I gotta listen to something happy for a while. But it is
Yeah.
a very fascinating how they talk about trying the cases, though. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
There's somebody from my coaching group. Her name is Danella Burnett, and she actually just bought like a magazine, a podcast magazine.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe she can come talk at our retreat.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I still want to introduce you because she might be able to help your podcast grow.
Definitely. I'm always looking for tips on growing the podcast, getting more listeners, improving things. And I didn't get a chance to talk about wins or anything like that, but I did talk to the president of the Independent Authors Association
Mhm.
today. And she said, when you publish your book, let me know. I'll put you on my podcast and help market your book.
Ooh,
I was like, yay.
That's fantastic.
that's great.
So I'm like, that gives me feet on, more fire under my feet to get this book done. I've got to finish it. I've got the first draft. I just need to go through and edit before I send it to the editor. But yeah, it's forcing me to actually do it. I was like, and the person who's going to edit my book was also at this event. So it was like, all right, you need to get going. Which is why I'm hiring somebody to handle some of the marketing because I got to work on the book and I've got a case that may go to trial next month. So I was like, yay, when you said this guy was coming, I was like, yay. So it may go to trial next month. So we'll see. So
Are
far,
you
I've
doing
got,
legal
I've got that.
consulting too, Tina?
Yes. Yes.
What doesn't she do?
I
I was
started out with that, and then I don't know, more opportunities just happened. And so I was in a year of yes, where I was just like, okay, instead of being negative, I'm going to say yes to opportunities that are presented to me. Now I've gotten to the place of saying, okay, now we evaluate the opportunities, and this is the right opportunity at this time.
She has
But
a
for a
North
while, because I was
question.
always no with everything, I was just saying yes. I learned that from Shonda Rhimes, by the
Yes,
way.
I love that book. That book is outstanding. It's
Yep.
called Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes.
Yep.
It's called what?
The year of
Year
yes.
of Yes.
Yep. And I just started saying, okay, I think I can do that. Okay.
But now
And
you have a North Star question. So
yes.
you'll know which opportunities to say yes to and which ones not to.
And what I do, if I'm not the right person, I say, you know what? That's something that I possibly, probably couldn't help you with, but I know somebody who can. And so I collect people so I can say, I've got a person that you need to talk to. Find that person. Yeah. So I always try not to say no. I turn it around to say, but my offer of help could be getting you to somebody else who would be better suited, because somebody asked me to write grants for them. And I'm like, yeah, I could do it. I don't want to do it. And I know I wouldn't put as much effort into it as I should be because I got other stuff going on. But I will help you find a grant writer. I don't want to write grants. That doesn't seem fun to me at all.
Yeah. I mean, when I started Empowered Nurses, my whole vision was for it to be a nonprofit. No, thank you.
Yep. Yep. I thought about that, and with the CNA school, and I thought, I don't want to deal with all that paperwork and IRS stuff. And it's okay to make money. I've come to that conclusion.
It is.
It's okay. So why am I worried about if it's a for-profit or nonprofit, right?
Right.
Because even in a nonprofit, you have to make money. And I
Right.
learned that by sitting on nonprofit boards.
Yep.
So how do you work that? How do you work, like, because I'm an LLC,
Hmm.
because all the, like, I literally haven't paid myself a cent. I've like put it all
Mhm.
into, education and purchasing, like tabling stuff for my business. It goes to rent, it goes to
Hmm.
whatever resources that I need, etc. How do you, like, when the ball gets rolling and I am making money, do you just like
Put yourself
choose
on
a
a
frequency
salary.
and
Put yourself
okay.
on a salary as soon as you can. You always need to be paying yourself. And when you start paying yourself regularly, you feel like you're a real business owner. So for years I just took what I could out of the business. And once I decided to give myself a salary and treat it like a real business, everything worked so much better. So
Hmm.
so
So you think that was
yeah.
just a shift in how you were thinking about the
Yeah,
business?
because it was like, oh, I'm getting a real salary now. I got to go out and make the money to pay the salary. Yeah, it was definitely a mindset shift, instead of just paying what I can by if I had money in the bank or not.
Yeah. Because I'm actually, one of the things I am doing while I'm here is going through my finances and trying to really, pull out what are absolute fixed costs, just so I know at a bare minimum what I need to, make, or how many clients I need or what have you.
Yeah.
And Lori,
So yeah,
I've actually, yeah.
it's all the math, and
Mhm,
money is math. Math is fun. Math is
mhm,
money. Money is fun. So
yeah.
because I can't not do math for the life of me. But
Yeah.
when you it's really you will be have you seen my triangle lead thing? Let me
Did you
see.
do it in the marketing?
I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
In the
Um,
marketing retreat that we did in August?
uh, So basically, I don't have it in front of me, but here it is. Bingo. Yay. I love this. I'm going to show it to you. Okay. So basically, it's really easy to figure out how much money you want to make, because what you're going to do is figure out what's the average cost of your coaching. What's the average package price? now that
So I have,
have-
I'm going to offer two packages. These are my thoughts. And I've actually I think I told you I was talking to a friend who did marketing, and we had this most amazing conversation while I was driving, and I had to pull over into a parking lot so I could take notes. But when I told him, he asked me about my packages, and I told him what I was thinking. He was like, that's not enough. You need to charge way more.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And this is a friend who's known me my entire career. Like, we became friends when I was in nursing school. He's actually a friend of my husband's when he was in business school. And, he was like, he's like, you have all this experience, blah, blah, blah. And so he was really rattling back to me everything that I've done. And it's so easy to kind of dismiss and go, oh, I'm just little Renee from Rhode Island, whatever. And as he started talking, I was kind of like, and then I don't know if you remember, I don't know, probably a month or two ago, I realized for my first beta that 3 months was not enough for 12 sessions, because that means you're meeting weekly, and that's not realistic for people.
Yeah.
So I extended it to 6 months. And so it's interesting because now I'm circling back to the number that you basically threw out, Lori, I think the first time I was on a business call with you, and that was 12 sessions for $2,500.
Yep.
But I got stuck on, if it's 3 months, that's $10,000 a year. That's a lot of money for one thing. And I was thinking about all the people that I live with in Rhode Island and thinking there's not a lot of people that could afford that, whatever. So, but now
Renee,
that it's,
your worth is not based on their pocketbook.
I know. You've said that before. So anyway, so I'm back to because I feel like, if I'm going 6 months, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
'cause
So
I'm sorry.
So in this example, the average cost of, we used case, but if you want to use a client, you could put 2,500 in there. Now close rate is usually it's 10%, at least 1 out of 10 is going to say yes,
Okay.
of good leads. Now, the idea here is to increase the number of leads and increase your close rate, so that there's less people that you have to talk to, but you make the same amount of money. So
Okay.
in this situation, for this person to make 5,000 a month, he's going to have to talk to 50 people, and 5 of those will say yes, because that's the 10%. And that's where you get the 5,000. 5 times 1,000 is 5,000.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is an idea for everybody. So you have a predictable income, because when you know how many people you have to talk to, you can know what your close rate's going to be and how much money you want to make. Make
Okay.
sense?
Makes sense.
So if you want to make 2,500 a month, you're going to have to close at least 1 client a month, right? And that means you're going to have to get 10 leads, 10 hot leads, like good leads,
Yeah.
to have a real conversation with, and at least 1 will say yes to your services.
Okay.
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 Is that what you were asking?
But that's not going to be, but that's not going to be, okay, that's not going to be 2,500 a month. That's going to be 2,500 over 6 months.
Okay, but you just have to close 1 a month. So even though it's for a 6-month package, it's you just have to close 1 a month, and you'll still average out to 2,500 a month.
A month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're close
So
to,
even though you're working with the first client, in the second month, when you get your second client, it's still, you see how it
Yep.
goes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
What's the 0 for on referrals?
oh, the referrals are the people that refer cases or clients to you. And those are like little candies that just drop in your lap that
Okay.
you don't have to do anything for. And so
Yeah.
obviously the more referrals you get, the better. Then you don't have to, those referrals will close at a much higher rate because
Right.
somebody knows, like, and trusts you to refer them.
Right.
But
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping ultimately my business will move towards,
yeah, you will.
is more of a referral business. Yeah.
And it'll probably be half and half is typical. And the longer you've been in business, then the more referrals you get and the lower the marketing is for you.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So any other questions, or I'm going to turn this off and share something personal.
So hold on. Tina, where are you?
I'm in Indiana.
Indiana. Okay, sorry. I think you said that.
Okay, any other questions?
I don't
No.
think so.
Okay.
Did we exchange contact once, Tina?
I don't know. Let me look and see.
I'm going to turn
I
this
usually reach out to people